Alrighty, welcome back to more Trailmakers. And today I have here, I just finished this bomber up. It took me 4 hours. Has it been 4 hours? No, I think it's only been like 3.5. But anyway, this is the Rebel uh ASF-01 B-Wing Starfighter. Honestly, to me, it's one of my favorite of the more lesser-known, unique spacecraft in Star Wars. I believe these were shown in, because I watched Return of the Jedi recently, and I'm like, huh, yeah. But I also said in the Y-Wing video that I wanted to make one. But as you can see, this thing is, keep in mind, I actually want to do more with this. I want to make two variants. One that replaces the lasers with flat cannons for a heavy variant, and I also want to make a different, I want to make a version that has both blasters and rockets on it. So I want to have a bit of diversity, but I'm going to modify this one to have the rockets on it because it already has the lasers. All I need to do is add the rockets. And you're like, what functions does this have? Pretend like you understood what that meant. But as you can see, I actually worked in the rotating cockpit system. I actually don't know if it works in first person. It does kind of. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not the easiest to see since the rotating servo. But as you can see, the hull rotates flawlessly around the cockpit. Even in. Oh, I can also toggle that on and off if I really want to. Functionality-wise, this one to me was nuts. This is crazy talk. And you're like, what other functions does it have? Well, it can fold up its wings as you would see. Actually, I don't think you ever see this thing with its wings folded in the movies. Interesting. But yeah, X is to fold in the wings, as it is with all my vehicles that have folding wings for Star Wars builds. They all have folding wings. I didn't really know what to do with the paint scheme for this one, because all the paint schemes I saw looked kind of barren and a bit too flat, I guess. And I don't want a flat-looking build. Okay, I need a bit of texture to it, you know. I need a little bit of you know. I need a little bit of something special. I'm never gonna say that again. Anyway, but yeah, as you see, I went for a darker shade of like orange on this one because in the film, actually, as I watched Return of the Jedi, I noticed that the A-Wings in that film, when they like go to like attack the Death Star 2, their thrusters go from yellow to, I believe, I forget what other color it is, but they change color like 3 times from like yellow to something else to red. And I'm like, what? Okay, that's interesting. But that's just a observation on my part. So it is interesting. So I kind of rationalized it as like, oh, maybe the engine's burning at a different temperature, I guess, and therefore it's a different color because, you know, for different degrees of heat, you have like different colors. At least I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Very likely. Oh, right. Not up. Down on the forepad is for your shields. Left and right on the forepad is your yaw. Of course, up and down on the left stick is pitch up and pitch down. Left and right being your roll. This thing has, it's pretty much just a heavier X-Wing, essentially, functionality-wise. I don't think I turned off the invincible characters. That might be a problem later. This thing is, I think it's actually cheaper in cost for complexity than my Y-Wing, which to me makes little to no sense, because look at this thing. This thing is huge. Like, this thing is actually huge. Then again, it uses a lot of like elongated sections, so you know it's like I only need to use the bigger blocks and such. Oh right, there is an interior to this cockpit. So as you can see here, you've got the standard gravity sensor, speed sensor combo. You know, classic. So yeah, the comments on my previous videos have been really nice, which I kind of expected. The Trailmakers community is pretty chill in general, so I didn't really expect anything, you know, heinous or anything. So yeah, I'm glad you people enjoy these showcases of my builds, of which I will always downplay how they look because I don't want to. I just don't like that. It kind of feels, it's very awkward to me. So I didn't panic, for the record. For the record, that escalated. Nowhere's near close to me. Oh yeah, this thing also turns a lot better because I have more than, well, most of my Star Wars vehicles have 2 quantum rudders. One of the other exceptions being, I think, maybe the X-Wing and the TIE Bomber. So yeah, it is very rare I put more in it, but by putting more in, it allows for more maneuverability. So this thing could actually go faster. I believe its top speed is 470 kilometers per hour top. But yeah, I kind of try and make them as accurate as possible. Or I like, of course I can't make this thing go, well I could, but it wouldn't really work out if I made this thing go like accurate Star Wars canon lore speeds, because literally how in functionality am I gonna make this go like 1,000+ kilometers per hour? It's just not possible. Well, it is possible, but just not in a way that would satisfy me or keep it under like 100 power cores. I mean, it's just not my capabilities here. Well, it is, but I just don't want to. It's more of a don't want to rather than a, you know, I can't. Plus I don't think being able to zip across the map in 2 seconds is all that fun, you know? Oh, and he's gone. This thing actually does work in atmosphere, sort of. It doesn't have the problem with the A-Wing that it constantly pitches up. It more functions like the Y-Wing and constantly pitches down, but it's not as severe, because if you look at this thing, most of the aerodynamics on this are negative towards the top and positive towards the bottom. At least I think that's how this is working, I guess. But yeah, we're just gonna butcher some more space pirates on the way over to Dune. Peacefully Dispatch. Yeah, totally. Nah, it's gonna take too long to engage in a dogfight with him. Shields up. Oh, that was just on. Yeah, no, he's actually getting some decent hits on me, so you're gone. And you're gone. Completely eviscerated. And now we continue on our merry old way to Dune. So what you can do for setups, I guess you can have it function like, alright, if the wings are folded down, it has a weird issue with, you know, well, the controls are kind of flipped around, so it's not the easiest to control. Because obviously the control surfaces, I actually technically could have made it work like that if I put all the control items inside the cockpit and had it rotate, because then the controls would rotate with me. But then again, that makes the build unstable, and I want a functional build. I want a build that I won't rage every time I use it. In other words, a build that I won't delete a month after I make it. But anyway, I don't know how heavy of gravity this thing would function in. All I know, it can somewhat soar around Dune, just not that fast. I think this one's actually the slowest in atmosphere at, I believe, 160 kilometers an hour. A bit of a degrade over the other builds, but then again, given the size of this thing, being its height, puts a lot of aerodynamic stress on it. So, yeah, it's not really the greatest in atmosphere, but in space, I'd say it's actually one of the best, if not the best, heavier starfighter I've built. Okay, that's... It tends to do that, I think. Come on. Use that thrust, please. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, nothing's keeping the B-wing down. B-wing don't step down for nothing. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Yapping for the sake of yapping. But yeah, we'll get a closer look. Oh yeah, I actually need to show you. So as you can see, oh, it's way faster in atmosphere than I thought. It actually almost goes, oh, it goes a lot faster. Okay, so maybe it's like 40 kilometers per hour faster, but who cares? Let me show you how ridiculous this looks in Galena 9.
This is a service message. Please respect the power core limit of the hangar bay.
Yeah,
We do not want to repeat last month's incident.
So if we look at this thing in the Galena 9's hangar, it doesn't stand up, by the way. Too complicated. I could add a gyro stabilizer, but okay, let me show you the funny thing about this thing. So if I try and slide it out of the hangar, it's so tall that it's like 1 or 2 blocks away from scraping. No, Jesus. It was 1 or 2 blocks away from scraping the ceiling of the hangar entrance, which I find to be pretty funny. Okay, the cockpit rotation is turned off, thankfully, because that would be, it's a nice feature, but it kind of becomes bothersome after a while. Oh yeah, random turbo number 3, I guess. Okay, now let's take a 3D look at this. Yes, I talk when I clap now, I guess. Also, the funny bug I found where the flak cannons on my Y-wing just... Seriously, random asteroid? I actually need to be very careful because I don't want the game to crash on me as I'm... Because it's happened to me before where I'm doing a video and the game crashes on me before I can even finish it. So let me give you the 360. So we have these little intakes. Well, you have the main intakes right here. If you want to get a look at that. I shaped it the best I could. It's not as accurate as I would have wanted it, but the angles I have to work with don't really permit me to shape it how I would want it to be. But of course, in future updates, if they do add the blocks that allow that, I will definitely change it. Then we have the blasters, of course, piston glitched into the thing. So you got the same thing on both sides. Then you have these like sort of grayish blue details. And you got these orange circular markings all over it. So there's one on the top of that wing, one on the bottom of this one. Then you have these asymmetrical blasters on the bottom, which the 3D model on Sketchfab that I was using had them as asymmetrical, and I was like, you know what, that's actually pretty cool. Let's go with that. So here you got the same grayish blue markings on it, just because, you know, I actually added a lot more blue markings than were on the pictures I was looking at to like actually do the paint scheme, because otherwise it would just look predominantly gray. I needed something to like make it look more interesting. But yeah, oh right, then we take a look around here at the engines. You got 4 of them. Very nice in my opinion. Very simplistic, but it doesn't have to be complex for it to look, you know, generically good. If the opportunity presents itself to use a better block there, I'll definitely take it. But yeah, just take a closer look at the structure in between the wings and the fuselage of the thing. So yeah, you got the singular hinge, well, the new large mechanical joints that they added. I love the mechanical joint. It makes both a satisfying noise when it's activated, and it's very versatile and is pretty much a too long, too tall. I'm talking in dimensions, not like it's, oh, it's too long, it's too tall. No, it is a too long, too tall uh, hinge piece, which honestly is an absolute win in my eyes. Then we take a closer look at the cockpit. Of course, you got the orange markings there. You got the blue that goes around. I might change that later because I feel like it needs to be different. I just got a feeling. Just got a little bit of a feeling. Now the cockpit used to be a bit more rounded, like this glass bit, but I didn't really. Well, I wanted to have the back of this rounded, and there's no, there's no uh, a too long or 2x1x1 cone piece in the game yet, so can't really do that. But anyway, that should just about do it for. Oh right, the proton torpedoes or the torpedoes, whatever it would use, would be in these little few. I kind of thought they were like external fuel cells, but no, it makes more sense that they're for torpedoes and other munitions and stuff. So yeah, that just about does it for this showcase. I do hope you enjoyed this episode, and yeah, thank you for watching, and I actually don't know what I'm going to make next. I don't really have anything lined up after this. I kind of just built a bunch of Rebel craft and said, yeah, this will be a good series for a while. And you know what? Honestly, I didn't think I would enjoy it this much. So, anyway, hope to see you in the next one, and goodbye.